Hello?
Gamers, protecting yourself in Five Nights at Freddy's is a lot like protecting yourself in real life. Let me show you how. Alright. First and very foremost, you need glizzy. Why do you need a glizzy in Five Nights at Freddy's? Well, I'll show you. Right here. Now, gamers, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a glizzy, and I understand a lot of you are in a lot of cringe states with what we call gun laws that restrict you. Even if you're able to live on your own, protecting yourself becomes pretty cringe. So let me introduce you to little somethings. First and foremost, I want to introduce you gamers to the more common one. That's right. And why am I choosing this in particular? Not just a baseball bat, but a wooden baseball bat. Okay, gamers, don't peek. No spoilers. I'm watching you. Okay. But a wooden baseball bat for a few reasons. It's light enough to swing, right? But it's weighted in just the right way and heavy enough to, well, matter. Now, gamers, let's get a little bit more personal. We do live in a society, after all, gamers. Definitely check with your legislatures, your laws. Make sure that it's not illegal over a certain length, width, and girth. All right, but one of these is always helpful for a few reasons, whether you're filleting game or filleting game. What can I say, gamers? Pun intended. Sure, why not? And honestly, this one I would kind of claim as a last resort, and I'll give you your first resort in a minute. For a few reasons, I'll explain it. Is this now? Why is this your second to first resort? All right, why that? Yes, it's the same one. Something you don't want to rely on. Well, gamers, there's a little something called taser challenges, right? That make people immune to tasers. With training, anybody can, and it won't matter. Now, here's your first resort, gamers. And why? Why is in a flashlight this size, and they are very expensive, but that's for a good reason. It's reasonable to be carrying one of these around because it's a flashlight. It might be dark. You put it in your car, it might be dark. You might lose a tire, it might be dark. But you have a little something inside of these flashlights called D batteries. Okay, and what D batteries, that's the bulb. You know what I mean, gamers. There's D batteries in this shaft that are heavy. And when you hold the flashlight like that, kind of like, you can kind of, or if you hold it like that, it's kind of a little bit more than a bulb, gamers. Now, why do I recommend these in particular to people with gun laws? Well, simply put, gamers, they don't only hold up in the court field, but they also hold up in the court field. Gamers, for example, it's perfectly legal and etc. to be holding one of these around in, say, your car, which is more where I recommend this. Additionally, get multiple of these and these, all right? Because there's no sort of intent to go and necessarily do harm unto others if you have one of these or one of these, because they're practical. They're what we call tools, gamers. What we call activity tools that you use for not illegal activities explicitly. When one can argue having a possession of a glizzy may or may not constitute cringe intent, gamers. Well, I was just going to play up. Keep a baseball glove, by the way, in your car as well. I was just going to play with the baseball with the buddies, and use your life felt as if it was in danger and threatened. Good idea, gamers, but obviously that's not very specific to your home, Brad. You said this was Five Nights Freddy's home defense. Look, you even showed us your whole set. You know what's up. Well, gamers, I got home specific tips for you now, but I just cannot emphasize stuff like this enough. Look, anybody can breach any defense to an extent, so you want to have that resort no matter where you're at or when or why. Okay, gamers, but let's move on to the very home specific stuff. Your first and most legal line of defense, gamers. Gamers! This is the Ring product I recommend you get. They also offer your standard home defense items there, gamers, but the reason I highly recommend a Ring front door camera is not just because of the cloud backup and the remote access and the access from your phone, but because it's a camera, okay? And a doorbell. Not only does it just turn on with the doorbell, but also motion detection. Big deal when it comes to things at your front door. You may or may not have heard of some certain unsavory packages arriving there. Plus, come on, how embarrassing is it for your line of defense to be weakest at your front door? Are you kidding me, gamers? All right, and now we're on to the next point, which, of course, gamers, is the same point. Elaboration style. You don't just want cameras, okay? You know how easy it is to bypass cameras? You know how easy it is to take advantage of weaknesses and little soft spots on cameras, that are so naturally occurring. Gamers, don't just set up your cameras. Set up your cameras intentionally. If your camera is not being watched by another camera, and I'm being completely serious here, gamers. If your camera is not being watched by another camera, and you don't have your cameras surrounding your perimeter in a loop, someone's going to find out whichever camera is not being monitored, take that one out, and then whichever camera that was monitoring, take the next one out, and so on and so on. So I want to make sure every single camera is being watched by another camera. And get this, gamers, that now your footage isn't just going to some hard drive that's underneath your mattress or something like that, wherever they put hard drives nowadays. It's probably not even solid state in most standard camera mechanisms. You want to make sure it's going to a cloud, which I know I just said I don't recommend Ring's home security standard cameras, right, and just their front door cameras, mostly because of the price and that they're not very practical. But whatever means you get it, and there's lots. Even if you use traditional camera mechanisms, there's ways to hook it up to things like OneDrive. They're making that more standard in the software. All right, gamers, whatever technique you use, make sure your cameras are watching each other and going up to a cloud. Remember, gamers, pics or it didn't happen. And if you don't have the pics, well, it didn't happen, gamers. It doesn't even matter if it was on camera if you don't have the footage. That's what the cameras are for. It's for the footage. So make sure you have the footage. Come on, gamers. So whenever you set up your cameras, make sure it's intentionally. Make sure they're watching each other, all right? Your cameras will have cameras that also have cameras. Let me give you an example. One camera watches another, which watches another. Let's pretend this is your house. One camera is watching another, is watching another, is watching another, is watching another, is watching the first camera. Simple, gamers. It doesn't have to be this whole, oh, well, let's get more and more cameras. You get the picture. Next point, gamers. Gotcha. You want to make sure you have remote access to your cameras, whatever that might be. You don't want to have to scrub through hours of footage every time something may or may not have happened. All right, gamers? Best form of remote access is something that gives you an alert on your phone and tells you, hey, there's motion here. There's motion at this camera. There's motion at this camera. All right, let's check it out. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, looks like it's another fly right in front of the lens. Yeah, but better that than something cringe. Also, you can just check in, see how your house is doing. And another tip, gamers, I'm done with the shenanigans. All right, is have indoor cameras. I recommend watching your front door, all of your entrances, all of your exits, because people will break into those at one point. Okay, so if you're watching that, and plus it lets you have a sort of record as to who's entered and exited your house. Now, the key to these things, gamers, is make sure that it's legal. Because a lot of the times, even when you have someone as a guest in your home, whether or not you permit it. Usually you're permitting it, giving permission to, with a vampire, for example, for them to enter your home. You would also need their permission to record them in some states, in some countries. So check with your local legislatures, gamers. All right, make sure what you're doing is legal, but I highly recommend it if it is. I basically insist if it is. All right, gamers. Now, gamers, a lot like in Five Nights at Freddy's, you want doors that hold. I will be linking in the description to my most trusted and the most trusted of many door fortification things. All right, gamers. This will make it so that, well, I don't have it on this door. That's why I'm showing you. It's a weakness. Literally yanked on this. I'm not worried because it's the garage door. Yanked on this enough, I could take out this piece of wood and, well, this, which we're getting into next time, wouldn't really mean much, would it? Now, gamers, the specific door fortification mechanism I'm talking about is called door armor. Now, it's unlike those wedges and stuff like that you can put on the floor that are fairly battering ram proof. Door armor literally fortifies your door frame and your door, and if you choose to opt into that, which I highly recommend you do, your hinges, so that every time you close and lock the door, it is a it is a tall, brooding, unmatched tower. No, seriously, I'm serious. It seriously does quite literally fortify your door, because some people don't care if you have alarms, if you have cameras, if you have flashlights and stuff. Gamers, some people don't care. Some people have a lot of people. Some people have a lot of means of entry, okay? And absolutely nothing to lose, and will absolutely go ham like it's a bad Thanksgiving on your door just to get to you. So door armor, basically, again, insist on it. I insist on basically all these things. And next, gamers, we're gonna get to something seems a little nitpicky, but is just as important. It's these mamma jammas. These mamma jammas. Oh, no. Yeah. These mamma jammas! All of these mamma jammas. Gamers, look, if someone's spying on you in your own home, that's pretty cringe. It's pretty cringe, gamers. You want to make sure that you have shades that you block out people's view in every single window. Every single window. Me in particular, not to flex or anything, but I have ones that do this cool thing. 0 cable lift and drop. These are actually the cheapest ones at Walmart. It's a fun fact there. But gamers, listen. It's super inexpensive. Super mandatory. You can make them pretty, all right? You can get drapes, whatever it might be, but make sure that your windows have an easy and almost always sort of dawned way of blocking out people's view. But on top of that, gamers, little side health tip, make sure you get enough sunlight, which is another reason why I recommend things like those blinds. Really easy to let in the light, but also to keep out the gaze. The gaze, like the look of people, not like, no, get, ah! Now, gamers, you might remember this piece of nostalgia from so long ago, but let's revisit it, shall we? In case you missed the live stream when we first mentioned it. And of course, the security, one of my favorite videos of all time, rundown necessities video. I alluded to these before, gamers, in our door fortification module. What you want to do is get these little bad boys. Again, link in description. What they do, put these on doors, windows, whatever. It has a module that disarms it, a way to arm it, and when these two pieces are separated, it does its very best to blast your ears out, like those metal concerts that are stereotypically despised. Now, gamers, I do recommend getting these for doors and windows. I have them myself. I won't bore you by showing you all of mine, but seriously, you could just put it at that point where the window separates to open or the door separates to open, and if it opens at all, it's gonna blare. And it's not just to scare people off, which it definitely does. Don't get me wrong there, but it's to let you know if someone's inside, and also let your home security system, your cameras, know that perimeter's been breached, okay? At least a physical one. Now, gamers, one quick tip I do want to give you. Thank you as a little dessert for making it to the end. Thank you very much. I do love you for doing that, and only for doing that, totally not for who you are as a person. Enough rambling, gamers. Put a VPN on your router and make it a private network. Making your router, your Wi-Fi, any wireless connection connected to your home and your personal devices that you trust so much with your banking information and doing basically everything, especially these days, you want to make sure that you have a hidden network first and foremost so that people can't even find you right away. Like, they literally have to know the name of your router to be able to put in the password to your router, okay? But not only that, if you put a VPN on your router, which I highly recommend these bad boys, you can honestly choose any or either one. I probably just recommended two because there's really only two that I enjoy. Gamers, because of how fast they are, that their servers aren't usually clogged up, put it on your router. That protects all your devices that are connected to it, just blanket-wise. I also recommend having the VPN service installed on individual devices, especially portable ones. But that's its own story, gamers. That's my little cherry on the tippy top of this home fortification. Gamers, more is coming. But if you have these things, bare minimum, and you do the same sort of fortification techniques, invest in some solid windows, or at least loud windows, okay? I do recommend tough to break windows, multi-layered windows. It's very expensive though, which is why I didn't recommend it in this video, but I highly recommend just doing all these things. If you get all these things done, you'll be safe. You'll be safe. Again, let's just run through it again. Hide weapons around your house. Use cameras, make sure you have cloud and remote access to that footage. Okay, live especially. Live footage is amazing to have. But cloud footage is really what matters. Pixar, it didn't happen. Make sure that you have physical fortification on your doors, hopefully your windows as well. Make sure you have window privacy as well as, again, fortification. If you can afford it, you'll probably have to speak to a professional to get multi-paned windows, but I think it's absolutely worth it. And on top of all that, make your network a private one. Doing that alone just oodles more security. Gamers, look, I love you, specifically you, which is why I'm telling you to do all these things and demonstrate, insisting that you do. Now! I love you. You know what's coming, don't you? Of course you do, even if you're new around here, yeah? Look, I love you, specifically you. We'll talk soon, okay? Stay safe.